Hi guys, how are you today? Sorry I'm late. I hate being late, but some information just came in at the last minute on Dixon. So originally I was going to report on Latasha Scott and the girls of Escape being, they fear for her safety. Then we're going to update you on the Shanquella Robinson case that's really taking a mysterious turn. It really doesn't make any sense. And then I'm going to address the Robin Dixon fired rumors. Okay, she's not fired yet, people. I mean, did I say yet? Oh my God. She's not fired as of now. All right. And I got 20 minutes, so I hope I don't overtalk. So let's get straight into it. Let's start out with the case on Tamika and Latasha Scott, the girls of Queens of R&B. Okay, let me put this up really quick. This is taking a weird turn. It really is. So we've been watching the show. There's only 2 episodes, and so much has gone down in these 2 episodes. Been watching these 2 episodes, and so the first episode we all learned that Latasha allegedly stole $30,000 from her sister Tamika, and the audience, everybody, the fans were like pissed at Latasha because we feel like that the mom is treating her special, and it just all hell broke loose. This was a bad PR stunt for Latasha and the mom. I mean, it just opens up a can of worms, and everybody was upset with her. And then we hear that yesterday Latasha's husband's alleged mistress came out and she had an attitude. And we were like, girl, go sit down somewhere. You're the mistress. Okay. Shut up. And we still didn't feel bad for Latasha. Now, the rumors are that the group feels sorry for her. They feel sorry for her. They want her back in the group, and they fear for her safety for Rocky. And I'm like, somebody said that when they called in. I don't remember who it was, but someone said that, and how do I put this? That he wasn't a good guy and that he carried GUNs around. And the reason I'm spelling it, guys, is because we don't want to trip the voice censor on YouTube. That could not get me this channel. I mean, they could take the video down if you say too many of trigger words. Okay. That's why everyone on YouTube says, they talk in code. We're forced to talk in code because YouTube is very strict on certain words. I don't know why. Don't ask me. But the rumors are that he carries a GUN around. So now everybody's coming forward with their Rocky stories. This man is a raging maniac. Okay. He is dangerous. I just said the word. What is wrong with me? Let me play to you. So I guess Tamika kind of spoke on it last week. They're saying that she's really, really worried about her sister. She hopes that they reconcile. The group wants her back in the group. They try not to bash her in public. Now, that's why I say you have to treat people the way you want to be treated. Let me show you this, and then I'll go into my speech, because I have a speech, because this is helpful for everyone. So take a listen to what Tamika said 3 days ago.
You and Rocky stole my money. Mama didn't say nothing.
I'm sick of being called out by Tamika. Because when you screen somebody now, you got to deal with what come with it.
So I'm just trying to figure out what the consequences. So I'm waiting on the consequences to see what those are for telling the truth. I know he got something coming. Because I don't know if y'all watched R&B Diva. It was a confrontation where on R&B Divas, he got into it with Nikki Gilbert's husband. And I was told, allegedly, I took that for candy, that he pulled a gun out on her husband. And after that, it was no more R&B Diva. And I heard Nikki say that she talked about the situation online, and she was saying that her husband's life meant more than that show. So, I mean, he's known to be a bully. He's known to pull guns out. He pulled a gun out on this guy named Lawrence, this producer. And Lawrence he had to go to the hospital, and he had a stroke. So, my sister's husband, he's a bully. He's a bully. If y'all ain't figured that out by now, he's a bully. So I'm just trying to figure out what the consequences are, Rocky. What are those consequences? And you're not going to threaten me like you threatened them. And you're definitely not going to pull a gun out on me like you did them. Because guess what? My God don't play with. But anyway, when they ask, what is it going to take for her and I to, I guess, mend the problems we're having? When I saw her sitting there like a deer in headlights, and he came and whispered in her ear to tell her what to say, to make up with her sister, that hurt.
Now, can you believe she's been mistreated for her whole life? Mistreated. It was blatant on the show. I'm sure when she watched the replay, the playback, she was like, I didn't know it was that bad. She still has compassion for her sister who allegedly stole money from her. This is why I say, people, you have to watch how you treat people. Okay, arguments happen, things happen, but you got to be kind to everybody or treat them the way that you want to be treated. Now, I do understand some people you cannot be nice to. Got it. I'm not talking about everyone. I'm saying most people. You never know who you're going to need or who's going to help you in your time of need. Because if Tamika walked away tomorrow and said, to hell with Tasha, I don't give a damn what kind of relationship she's in, nobody would say anything because she's well within her right. Latocha, you just gotta you're the luckiest bitch on television to still have the successful group that you've been tripping with still have your back. She is lucky, lucky, lucky to see how the mom treated Tamika, and all she wants still is the best for her sister. I couldn't say I'm really kind to people. You guys know that until you give me a reason not to, and then I'm your worst enemy. I don't think I could have that same kind of compassion. Let's talk about what she might be going through. Latocha, is this a case of DV? All kind of people are coming out. Producers, music executives, people, other singers are saying, yeah, he's a bad guy. So I'm thinking, and in the way that Tamika just said, she's scared of retaliation for her bringing up the fact that they stole her money is a pure example of what kind of person he is. Is he putting his hands on her? She fits all the criteria. I wouldn't be shocked if he was. If not putting his hands on her, being rough, the guy has a bad reputation. And when that many people say you're a bad guy, don't trust him. And when that many people are saying he pulled out GUN on me, what kind of maniac does that? That's like some Suge Knight behavior. You know how we heard about he did Vanilla Ice, hung him over the banister and all that stuff. I thought that stuff was made for TV until I heard about Suge Knight. And now Rocky Bivens. Boy, you are a hot mess. I have no respect for you. Not only are you, I think, making Latocha suffer. Either she's scared of him, he's putting his hands on her, or he's controlling every aspect of her life, or even worse, all three. Girl, I don't know what you're going to do, but you better thank your lucky stars that at any time you want, as of now, you could go back to the group, you can get emotional support from the group, and they're going to let you back in. I would be so done with her, and I wonder, the mom. The mom, I'm wondering if the mom herself has had man problems. Some women that just don't know follow the man, whatever he says and does, cover up for him under any circumstances? Is this a family problem? Like, y'all, do we have to add another problem to y'all list? Because you are a bad mom. I'm sorry. You showed major favoritism. And I don't know, Tamika, proceed with caution. I know that's your sister and you love her, but the love has to be reciprocated, in my opinion. And I just can't believe that they're all feeling bad for her. But maybe she is stuck in something. You know, we're just getting bits and pieces. You can tell she can't even talk when he was whispering her. She can't even say what she wants to say. And a lot of times it sounds like she's regurgitating something that he probably said. She's got herself in a mess. I don't know how I feel about Latocha now, because I was ready to walk away. But nothing's worse than a woman that's caught up in the cycle of DV, whether it's physical, mental, or both. They really lose a sense of who they are, and they live in fear. They live in fear. And nobody should live like that. Oh, jeez. It's a mess. It is a lot, people. You know, I don't know how I feel about it. It's a lot going on at one time. You know, we hear the rumors that it's going to get worse with the money situation, but in real time, she's going on these press tours to say, we didn't do it. There's no favoritism. He could be behind that. These men get so controlling. You better say what they tell you to say or else. And if she's stuck in that kind of situation, I don't even want her in that kind of situation. But, you know, it's just a lot going on at one time, and they need Jesus, because it's a number of problems going on. Because if he is mistreating you, you need to get as far away from him as possible. And then stop letting him control your life, especially your career. Do you remember when she went in to talk for the gospel album? She was going to sign the contract, and they said, well, where's the rest of the group? And they all paused. She did not say anything until he gave her the okay, with that crooked smile of his. This man is not to be trusted. He should have been nobody's husband. You know, you going around Tory Lane and people. Remember, you heard the story about Tory Lanez? You guys heard about Tory Lanez getting sued by Prince, the guy that's on Love and Hip Hop Miami. He was a bully behind the scenes. Tory Lanez is. Sounds like Rocky is too. It's a whole group of unethical people in the music business. I mean, J. Prince Sr., Jr., that whole family. Like, it sounds like Rocky wants to be a thug, a music thug, and has the women scared. I don't know. This is a mess. This is a mess. We will talk about this in a minute. It's you know, I hope you're not stuck in that situation, Latocha. Now, I don't even want to see that, but you know, you got that to deal with, and the fact that mom still showed major favoritism even now. And I'm going to just commend Tamika. It's people don't understand it. In life, it's always harder to do the right thing, easier to do the wrong thing. That's why so many people do the wrong thing. It's easy. But for her to still say, you did this to me, but I'm here for you if you need me. Courage. And I don't know if I got it. It's a lot. It's a lot. We got to talk about it. Okay. Let's move on to the next subject, this Shanquella Robinson case. Okay, so this is really, really, I don't even have a picture. This is really, really strange. Okay, so originally there was rumors going around that the U.S. was waiting on some papers from Mexico, and then Mexico was saying, no, we turned over the papers, and it's going back and forth. And in the meantime, nothing is absolutely getting done. So we have Benjamin Trump, the co-counsel, and what is their attorney name? Sue Ann Robinson. They went to the White House in March, and they're trying to keep this case alive because it's been 4 months of absolutely nothing. And during when they went to the White House, the mother was there, the family was there. You could tell they are still in pain, probably as if it was the first day. And it's even worse when you don't have any answers. So let me play this quick video from the news talking about this autopsy report. So basically, they're saying she passed away from a spinal injury and injuries. In other words, they beat her to death. Oof. They beat her to death. They're also saying that they're not really getting anything from the US, but Mexico seems to be giving them more information, and they talked to them about this new witness that came forward. Let me go ahead and play this really quickly.
Name has made headlines nationwide. It's been more than 4 months since the Charlotte native went on a trip with friends to Cabo, Mexico.
I'm going to fast forward this a little bit because I didn't get a chance to cut it down. Here we go. I just want to hear him talk.
Alive. Mexican authorities have ruled her death a femicide or murder. The FBI also investigating her death. But here we are 4 months later, still no arrests in this case, leaving many questions like how did this happen and who did it? Today, the attorney for Shanquella Robinson's family sent us a copy of a letter. The Robinson family and a national activist are now calling on President Biden and Secretary of State Antony Blinken to personally help to bring justice for Shanquella. The letter to the president also included a packet of Mexican police records that had not been released previously and an autopsy. There's a copy of it for you right here. We went through it very carefully, and we found there are some key takeaways here for you to understand. First off, this was performed the day after Shanquella was killed. It shows Shanquella died from atlas and medullary dislocation. In simple terms, that's a broken neck and a severe spinal cord injury. The autopsy also found contusions or blunt force trauma to her front region or her head and parts of her pelvis as well. And there were also friction burns on her body. In early November, this video showing an alleged fight went viral on social media. Now, we don't know if she sustained those injuries described in the autopsy during this fight, but her family says this is Shanquella in the video. And the FBI in Charlotte tells WBTV they were also sent that video. Now, in the packet of documents they provide by the law firm representing Shanquella's family were those police reports. They interviewed someone who interacted with Shanquella and her friends while in Cabo. Here's our Brandon Hamilton's report.
Now I have to stop this for fair use.
An employee at the resort Robinson was staying at.
I have to stop this for fair use. So they're saying, you know, Mexico is giving them more paperwork than the U.S. Now let me play the rest where this news journalist comes on and talks about this new witness.
Describes providing assistance to the friends in Robinson inside their Cabo, Mexico villa. That unidentified male employee told investigators the group arrived on the night of October the 28th. He said he met Robinson around dinner time. He added she was the last to the table, quote, seemed not to fit in with the others and was out of place at that party.
Obviously, Shanquella was attacked by someone in the group, one of the travel mates. So the employee describing their interaction lets me know that the environment that she was in for her last moments wasn't a positive one.
The next day, October the 29th, as we've reported, Robinson was found dead. According to the transcript, the resort employee received a text from the main guest asking about medical service and added that Robinson had alcohol poisoning. Employee later learned Robinson had died. In the initial death certificate provided by her family, a spinal cord injury was listed as the cause of death. In the hours after her death, again, according to the transcript, the group requested a driver to go to dinner. They would never come back to the villa.
So what they're saying is that they said that they ordered a Uber and they said they wanted to go hang out, but really they were leaving town. This is really, really strange, okay? It is what it is. They were saying that the Mexico was holding them up, but Mexico seems to be forthcoming and wanting this case to either for the United States to hurry up and do the extradition and do the things that they need to do so they could move forward with the case, or for United States to claim jurisdiction and then they take it over. But they're not doing anything. And I found this press conference, the White House secretary, when she did a press conference, when they asked her about the Shanquella case, her answer was just very strange to me. Go ahead and listen to this.
A letter to the White House about this case. This young woman was killed in Mexico in October of last year. The suspect is in this country, along with those back here, along with those who were present during the deadly beating, okay? He sent a letter asking for extradition of the suspect to Mexico for the Mexican authorities to deal with, or if not, take jurisdiction of it here and deal with it. What's next? What's the White House willing to do?
So let me just first say our hearts go out to Ms. Robinson's family and friends. It is devastating what occurred, and certainly the tragedy is just devastating. And we've been following the news here, but because there's an FBI investigation underway, there's very little that we can say. We got to, as you know, we are very careful about criminal investigations or any investigations that are currently happening through DOJ, in this particular case, FBI. But our hearts go out again, to the families, and I would have to refer you to the DOJ and the State Department on this.
Let me ask you this. So since there's an FBI investigation, does that mean nothing happens until the investigation is complete? Or, the United States has extradition treaty with Mexico. Is all of this contingent upon the FBI investigation?
What I can say is there's an investigation going on, so this is something that the FBI has to speak to. So that's why I'm referring you to the Department of Justice. And it's also an issue of the State Department, again, so would refer you to the State Department as it relates to another country and the diplomatic conversations that occur there. But again, this is something that we're clearly following here, and our hearts go out to her family.
And last question on this, though. Are there capabilities for the United States to take jurisdiction over this if it doesn't go, if the suspect is not extradited back?
Look, April, I understand the question and I appreciate the questions, all important questions to ask of me. But again, there's an ongoing investigation, so I would refer to the Department of Justice.
Process, not necessarily the investigation.
But there is a process that's currently happening because of the investigation, so I would refer you to the Department of Justice and also the State Department, as there are, this is a diplomatic issue that needs to be handled on that end. Okay.
Now, a lot of people said she was very crass. She wasn't sympathetic enough. A lot of people criticized her comments, but I'm thinking to myself, I live in the United States. No, we're not a perfect place. I just don't see a case this big that's going to the DOJ, and Merrick Garland, by the way, who Barack Obama was going to appoint to the Supreme Court as a justice. He's good. I don't understand what's going on. So I'm thinking maybe there's some things that's going on that we don't know about, because I just find it hard to believe that the U.S. just totally is ignoring this case all the way up to the White House. It just doesn't seem right. But I cannot ignore the fact that absolutely nothing has been done. I don't know what's going on. Originally we heard it was Mexico, and now Mexico seems forthcoming. What's happening? Well, I don't know what's happening, but I'm confused. I do know that sometimes the hands of justice turn slowly, but 4 months. We're gonna have to talk about that later, because I'm very, very confused, and I just don't see the United States ignoring this when it's gotten so much attention. I don't know what's going on, but the family needs justice. They've got the right eyes on it. Benjamin Crump, he makes sure it gets lots of attention. And then I like the actual attorney, Mary Sue Robinson, but something very weird is going on. And basically we have, I can't say that. we have the evidence at the scene of the crime when it went down, the day they unalived her. It's all on tape. So what's taking so long? I don't know if I'm impatient, but no mom should have to go through this. You know what happened to your daughter and who did it. Why can't we just get something done here? It's a lot. I mean, I might take questions later. All right. And so what made me late is, let's move on. This final story about Robin Dixon. So there's a rumor going around that they have demoted and or fired Robin from the Real Housewives of Potomac. I've heard these rumors. I feel that it should happen. But anyway, Giselle came out and denied all claims and said that no one should believe the rumors and that Robin is fine. And as far as she knows, she will be returning to the show. Now, Giselle, girl, stop. Girl, stop. That does not mean she will not be returning to the show. Okay. You could come out and say, as of now, which that means is officially we haven't heard anything, but we've heard things. We're hearing that they are auditioning people in Robin's friends group, those socialites that I was telling you about. It's a group of them. And they want one of them, if they would agree. So some of these women in this group have real money. And so Bravo's got to make it really good if they plan on bringing one of them. But I don't think Robin's job is safe at all. So Giselle, please, I know you're standing up for your friend. Please have several seats. We're still going to talk about it until it happens. Okay. It is what it is. But thanks for standing up for your friend. That's a mess. We all know, especially, I don't even know what they're going to do. I hear they're looking, but with the whole Juan story, I kind of wish she comes back. A lot of you guys are going to say, Sharrell, shut up. But I do really hope she comes back. There's too much that we need to talk about. Or no, I forgot. They need to fire her for a year and then bring her back, because what you did to Kenya, you guys need to do to everybody. All right, let's take a couple questions. If they bring back Robin, I won't be watching Kenya. Oh my God. You're not? Okay. Like, wow. All right. Let's see what's here. I got so many. Okay, there we go. Let's clear that up. She won't talk about you. You know that. I don't know if you're talking to me and who we're talking about. Bravo really needs to revive that franchise they do. ROP is a mess. Hot mess. We got a couple calls. Hold on. Hey, Sin. Hey, Jennifer.
Hey, Sharrell.
Hey.
I just want to talk about Tasha. Okay, you can tell that she is a victim of DA. Is that right? Or AD?
DV.
Yeah,
Wow.
DV. Because I heard her sister say in an interview that there has been many times she's taken up for her sister, and she should have went to jail for taking up for her sister. Okay, so that's not allegedly. I heard that come out of her own mouth. But yeah, I think, and you heard the mama say, you don't know what she was going through.
Oh,
okay.
She said that. Wow.
Yeah. So the mama know it because she was probably hiding out at her mama's house when it happened.
I hope that's not.
I do too.
Happening, but she does seem to appear to be that way.
Yeah.
She can't speak without him saying anything to her. Now that I know he's violent, I'm just worried. It's just a bad situation, but I still feel bad for Tamika.
I do too.
It's a lot.
I do too. And if you think about it, he come from that R. Kelly camp. So,
yeah. That's true.
Yeah. And, and the other sad part about it is with Tamika has been blessed since all of this has came out, because her husband's got a new gospel video. Mm-hmm. Tasha, where's yours?
Ooh,
do you know that's got to be You know that's got to be burning her and Rocky up inside that her brother-in-law got a gospel video out already.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's a
okay,
lot.
that's all.
Thank you. Sound
I'll
off.
see y'all later.
Okay, thank you, Sin.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Sound off, Jennifer.
Hey, I'm gonna make this real quick. Um, God, I hate always saying, "Oh, my brother knows," or but my brother is now in politics,
Mhm.
and he works with a congresswoman who is one of my mother's best friends. And so, I do know that the press secretary, first of all, they have a high turnover rate because their job is extremely stressful,
Exactly.
because they are very limited on
Mhm.
what they can say, and you see all the questions they're bombarded with,
Right, right.
because Biden has only been in the White House since 2021, and this is
Mhm.
his second press secretary, and that other guy went through a few as well. So I know somebody in there in the chat was like, "Oh, that black woman," but her name is Karine Jean-Pierre, and she is the White House press secretary.
You're saying that's why she came off the way she did because she has rules that she needs to follow.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
can't just say, "Oh yeah, we're doing XYZ
Yeah.
and this and that." I mean, it's just like any other investigation. Like when you speak to the police and they're like, well, right now we can't give you information because we're doing an investigation. We're getting all our pieces." And unfortunately, as we all know, the wheels of justice can be very slow.
Mhm.
We would all love it to be sped up and to see these people in jail, but sometimes when you want a very thorough case, you have it. It takes time. But there was something else I
Because I
want.
really don't see United States just ignoring this case, especially when they went up to the White House and had the press conference and stuff like that. Something's got to be going on. And we all know in every murder trial, you can't talk about some things.
Oh,
You know what?
exactly. And I
Yeah.
was also going to say, think about all the times that Benjamin Crump has met, with a family and then talked to or had communications with the White House,
Mhm.
and especially with a black victim of injustice, like that's especially like with police or of some nature. They do their best to try and take care of it. Now, I'm not saying they always get it right, I'm not saying any of that, but I'm just saying from what I know, my mother's friend has been a congresswoman for many years, and she's very, very well versed. One of her things is about uh violence in the black community and different things and getting justice. Like that's one thing she runs on. So
I mean, I agree with you. When a case gets this big that it makes it to the White House, I don't see any president or his administration, especially Merrick Garland. I really like Merrick Garland, just ignoring it. Do you guys remember when ASAP Rocky went to prison in Sweden
yes.
and Donald Trump got him out?
Yeah.
When a case gets national attention, most presidents make it their priority. So I don't see Joe Biden and his administration just ignoring this. I mean,
I don't.
Barack Obama had his people that he let out. When it gets national, I think it affects their administration
It
and how they're doing
definitely
their
does.
jobs.
It
It's a lot,
definitely does. Even
but
like
we can't
when
deny that nothing's being done.
even remember when Kim Kardashian worked with Trump to get Alice Walk what wait, am I getting
Sequoia
all that?
Brown, she did.
Uh, yeah.
When cases get attention like this, the United States usually does something about it, and it doesn't matter who the president is. But it's got, but we can't deny nothing seems to be getting done.
Right. It doesn't seem like it, but I I would bet that something is now, like I said, I'm not saying all politicians are right or, like, oh, the government, you can trust everything they do, because we know that's not the case. There are crooked politicians, but this is just some of the things that I do know.
Let
Just
me address this comment. It says, I
okay.
believe this government is ignoring Shanquella Robinson case. There's a big portion of people that are saying it's getting ignored because she's African American. So that's another argument going around. And listen, you could say they're crazy. No government would do this, but we can't ignore the fact that nothing seems to be getting done. We're not even getting tips like something's getting done, but we can't talk about it. We didn't even get that.
We also didn't get tips, so I mean, like I said, I'm saying this because there's just no way at this point, I think, that we can know for sure.
I wonder what's going on. I
Like,
don't
we didn't know, like, that Brittany Griner was getting out till she
exactly.
got out.
Yeah,
You know,
that's true. And that was under this administration.
right?
So I don't know, but I understand people's frustrations,
Oh, I
especially the
definitely do.
family.
I do too,
Mhm.
because I'm frustrated too. But I remembered like all these things because like I'm like to my brother, well, why did they get a new press secretary already? And all these things like, Barack Obama is, as I told you, we live in the Chicago area. And when he was a congressman, he was at my mother's friend's wedding, and we met him. That was before he
The
was
presidency.
president. So
Yeah.
she's very well, like, so she knows Joe Biden on a personal level. Now, I'm not saying she talked to him about this case, but what I'm saying is that with my brother working with her, he does pretty much know a lot of not he doesn't know a lot of the stuff that's going on. He knows different things about how things run.
Yeah.
That's
LaShawn,
all.
jump in. What are your thoughts?
I was just thinking about like many years ago. I don't know if y'all remember this, probably about 20, maybe 15 or 20 years ago, the little white young lady who went to Mexico with some friends for after high school, their senior trip.
Are you
And
talking about Natalie Holloway?
yes,
Okay, go
yes.
ahead. Uh-huh.
And so I remember just how much they kept that before the media, even though they had less evidence than what they have right now with the
Mhm.
Shanquella Robinson situation. However, like the media, mainstream media kept it before people's thoughts and everything else, and also made demands on the White House. And I feel like that's where most Black people are feeling, is like it's not really being pushed as much through
Mhm.
mainstream media. And
Yeah.
so that's what makes people feel as though she's forgotten because she's a Black girl.
I
Mhm.
agree
Because I,
with you.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you up. I said the same thing like when the case came out, because I'm like, I was telling my mother about it, and I was like, they don't have anything. Like when it first came out and it was all over social media and everywhere, I was like, this isn't on the news. Like nobody's talking about it, but they're talking about all these cases regarding to like white women that have been unalived and missing. I mean, even when you look at Dateline, there's
Mhm.
Yeah.
very few cases about Black women. It's
Hmm.
I see that seems to be the consensus in the chat. People are saying it's not staying in the media. Go ahead, Robin. Sorry.
Hi, listen, two things. The first is, as a point of clarification, the
Mhm.
Benjamin Crump and the family did not meet at the White House. They met at the Department of Justice with
Oh, okay. Yeah.
officials from the Department of Justice.
Mhm.
And the press conference that was held at the headquarters, the national headquarters of the National Council of Negro Women.
Mhm.
That's just clearing that up. But
Okay.
I actually want to implore you, Sharrell, and
Me?
the community of content creators to get it moving again. Because when
Oh.
this when Shanquella Robinson's case first came to the fore,
Mhm.
every day people were on the case, making videos and such. And one of the things that I got watching that press conference was I felt like Ben Crump and Tamika Mallory and Sue Ann, what they were saying is we need help getting this out. So I think that a couple of things you can do. You want to keep this in the news, you want to get stuff moving. I say every video that you've ever done, share it with the members that were at that press conference and with the
That's a
Department
good
of Justice.
idea. Mm-hmm.
I say what you do is those same people, because I don't think they believe that the public is as invested in this. Invite those people to come on your channel just as an update.
You know, it's
just to
really
keep
weird
this in
because
front of-
I reached out to Nancy Grace, not her herself, but her staff that takes the calls. They were very welcoming. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea.
I think like what she was saying too is bringing together, like let people see that regardless as to what type of commentation our influencers, our YouTube influencers are giving. I think that if you all agree that there is an injustice that happened with Shanquella, that everybody should collectively come together and do just what she said, bombard them with the content, with the videos that you've done, so that they know. And then all of y'all have your followers. Y'all have like hundreds and thousands of followers collaboratively together. So they need to see that this is a consensus. Just like when people get together and they put out these petitions to have so and so pulled off of a show and this and that. This is real life stuff. There's a family that's hurting behind this. So I think like, you know, what the other viewer just said, like that, I think that's a very good idea.
It's a great idea. Robin, how long you been holding on to that? That's a great idea.
I actually have done it myself. And I've also shared the same suggestion with other content creators and crickets. And I did it to the people and crickets. Wow. And I want to be clear, you know, we have this, and I think that the new term for the rest of the year is going to be selective outrage, because when you look back on it, it seems like it was just a moment in time when we decided to be outraged about this and then let it go. And I say that, and what I say that's really interesting is when we look at those 4 people who traveled from South Carolina to Mexico, were kidnapped, and 2 unalived.
The drug dealers? No, that's what I'm calling them.
Yes, that's what I believe them to be, for real. But the speed with which that came to a conclusion, it's really important to note who knows who and what and why. Yeah. What does the cartel mean, and what do we know about it? I mean, it was just too easily presented, the package, to wrap it up. And I'm sure there's more to it than what we saw. But I say, just like Ben Crump said about those officers in who took out Tyree Nichols, things can be done swiftly if they want it to happen. And we got to make them want it, because it's what we want. They work for us, and we want justice.
Exactly. Somebody had mentioned how it took them a long time. They were negotiating behind the scenes for Brittany Griner. Maybe something like this is happening. I just don't. I don't want to believe.
It's different. You're talking about something that is geopolitical versus criminal.
Well, that's true.
One is more, you know, a criminal in the act that brought it to bear for us to know about. Well, and also, people also need to know that the Brittany Griner release was a very stealth, in my opinion, political move on the part of Russia. Right. They shouldn't have any real value to them. They wanted their person, right? Yeah. And they were like, well, we see other people over there in America, you know, us here. We were like, give us our Brittany. And they were like, it's nothing. You know, we've used her for what we're going to use her. So it's apples and oranges, totally different. Different people involved.
I wasn't saying that it was the same thing. What I was saying is we never know what's being done behind the scenes. That was my point. I'm not
100%. I agree. You're right.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's the same thing, and I'm not saying all politicians are like upstanding citizens at all. Like I said, I'm just speaking only from what has been explained to me about the process. But that's it.
Pia, sound off.
Well, as far as well, I have a couple of things that I wanted to say. One of them is I'll start off light with the whole Robin situation. Personally, I don't think she will be back next season.
Oh, you're talking about that. Oh, well, we don't know what's happening, but a lot
And
of times we would have known before this. Somebody would have slipped it out from production, and we know nothing.
well,
I agree with Pia.
I heard that actually they're trying to push Mia out and bring Jacqueline in.
Yeah, we've heard that. Do you think
I've
they'll do that?
I think so because Mia her lies don't make any sense. And I think that, the fact that come to find out she was never a CEO, they don't have that much money. And as much as I can't stand Giselle, I kind of have to agree with her what she said about Mia at the reunion. It does sound like they were embezzling.
It does.
I
They
mean, I'm
were.
sorry.
Come on now, they were. They
Yeah,
were.
I mean, it really does. So, I mean, I do see that happening. And really, I don't see Robin coming back just because, again, she blatantly admitted that, they do sit around and talk about who they're going to go after, but they keep her off limits.
Yeah, yeah.
What do
And
you think
go ahead.
about as a friend of the show? No.
Do I? No, because I feel like they might try to pull a Charisse and always have her around.
Oh yeah, that's true. That was ugly.
Yeah, I think that they might try and do that. But as far as what's her name? Shanquella Robinson?
Shanquella.
Shanquella, thank you, Shanquella Robinson. I think it is a shame that her case isn't getting looked at and isn't getting more attention because look at the whole, and I got in trouble on Instagram for stating my opinion about this when they were talking about the whole Gabby, whatever her last name situation.
Gabby.
And yeah, and I said, well, I said, I said on Instagram, I feel sorry for anyone that goes missing or that gets unalived by a loved one. But I was like, there's so many other people of color that this happens to, and y'all ain't even out here trying to solve it. I feel bad for what's happening to her, but for crying out loud, I mean, there's other people that this happens to, and they don't get in near coverage that it should be getting. I mean, they're making movies about her and stuff like that. And I mean, to me, it just shows you how society really is.
There's so many. Oh, I'm sorry.
P, I don't have a lot of time today. I want us all to sound off on Latocha and Mika feeling sorry for her. Tamika.
For Latocha, her situation with her husband kind of reminds me of Wendy Williams and Kelvin.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I think so. I think that he has probably played a significant role in getting her to certain levels and heights because of his influence. And see, with guys like that, they have to exemplify their power by what they can do in order to gain some sort of control over the individual that they want to influence.
So you're saying he's dangerous. Are you saying that?
Yeah, I believe that. When you see him, his demeanor looks just like how Kelvin did.
Yeah. Yeah.
He has the same type of demeanor as Kelvin. He has a personal interest in the success of his wife, and so he's pretty much like a trainer with a dog.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he has an alleged mistress and a baby. That is Calvin to a T. Not Kelvin to a T.
Yeah. So that's my thing and I think that it took time for him to get control of her mentally because I saw somebody said that Latocha's dad is a retired police officer. But there are a lot of females in DV situations that have powerful family members. You know what I'm saying? Because the guy has practiced so much control and have so much mental control over them, they're never going to expose what that person is doing to their family.
Wow, this is deep, isn't it? It's crazy. All right, anybody got anything else to say? Because I got to go watch the show. It
I
comes on.
just wanted to say one thing, Sharrell,
Mhm.
and that's piggybacking off of something Pia said. I follow a lot of Black and missing groups on social media, and they will post like pictures and missing dates, and if there are age progression photos. And what I do a lot of times is just repost them, so I would suggest, going, there's some groups called Black
That's a
and Missing
good
Women and
idea.
Girls, and just repost them. And then I think we should just do like we did and bombard on social media and everywhere Shanquella's name, justice for Shanquella, like we used to,
I
like we
hope
did
I don't
before.
It
forget.
has to be pointed.
Would you say, Robin?
I'm sorry. I just said it really. I said I agree. I just think that it needs to be pointed. What we did in the past was really just shouting into the abyss, and it needs to have some direction, not just justice for Shanquella. I can't believe this happened. It needs to go be, hey, Merrick Garland, what's going on? Or this is a video that we did. That's the way to keep it up, because otherwise, you know, it's just going to just things will not move forward if there's not a sustained
No, Robin,
pressure
I don't know if
from
you
the public.
remember. We did that to the FBI, remember?
Yeah, we were doing that.
Yeah,
FBI.
and it worked.
No, I
You're
didn't.
right.
I didn't.
We
So,
were like hashtagging FBI or
Do you
Department
remember
of
that?
Justice and all of that. And I remember when you got in touch with Nancy Grace's people, and she's still keeping
mhm.
up with the case. But I wish some of our Black sisters and brothers who have shows would talk about it.
Like who?
Do like Sherry Shepherd,
You?
Jennifer
Oh, yeah.
Hudson,
That's a good one. Let me write that down. Sherry Shepherd. Who else?
Jennifer Hudson,
Yeah, that's good.
Karamo.
Karamo Brown. I forgot about
He's
Karamo.
he is so sweet. I love his show. I didn't like it at first, but I love it. He seems very compassionate.
I
Also,
have a
too,
question. Those shows that you named, do any of them really stand out in the social justice space in activism? I mean, and I
no.
say that because you reminded me of years ago. I remember way back when I used to watch Regis and Kathy Lee. But after that, Kelly Ripa said that the one thing that they avoid doing is talking about things in the news or things that are controversial. They keep a very clean line that they'll break, that they just don't engage in certain subject matter. And I do think it's that they tailor that for their audience and the acceptance of it and as
They
an
might
escape.
do that too,
So
but it's not, it's still, you have to try.
Yeah,
But
because
we know
I
Roland Martin is doing it.
I
Roland Martin.
wonder what
and
a
yes,
Black and Missing segment. It's not necessarily political. It's just like, hey, we'd like, or Black and Missing, or a lot, just like, I know on our news just recently, in Chicago on NBC, they were talking about how Black women do not get justice, and like, marginalized groups, Black trans
mhm.
women or brown trans, a
Yeah.
lot of people in that community. Now, true enough, that was the news, but we could reach out to our local news channels, anybody, just to
We
get the
did that
word out.
too. Yeah, we did that
And
too.
speaking of Black and Missing, Roland Martin has a daily segment on Black and Missing on his show. His
He
show,
does.
Roland Martin Unfiltered. Yes, every
And he's
day.
following the case. He's doing a really good job with the case. He interviewed the
Mm-hmm.
mom. He's following it to a T. So,
And
all
I
right,
think
you guys.
I think another thing too, real quick, Sharrell, is that we should look at some of our celebrities, because I think somebody else was saying how when you're dealing with like major media outlets, it is very political, and they go after stories that's gonna put certain races of people in a certain spotlight. I can guarantee you that a lot of them already know about the Shanquella Robinson case, and so I think that's why I think it was
Hmm.
Robin that said being very pointed about which direction you move and making sure that the direction you move in is strategic. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
influencers, vloggers, our artists or celebrities or famous people, just really putting that information, because with actors and stuff like that, they have their own platform that they can go on, and a lot of them have their own following. You get what I'm saying? So if everybody knows that we're all working together for this one story, it's more power packed and impactful than just going with one or two people. You get what I'm saying? Like when we're all pushing in the same direction and we know what direction we're all moving in, it makes a bigger statement, and then the major media outlets have no choice but to cover the news, because you guys are pushing and forcing the issue.
Yeah.
Dervonda suggested Tamron Hall, and she is a news reporter, you know. And then
Be good.
DL Hughley is very political, and there are, like, is it Christian Keys? Like, a lot of them do keep up on things like that. So hopefully we can, like, suggest it to and get it going again and get her name back out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys. Thank you for your suggestions. I'm definitely going to try. That's all I can say.
Thank
So
you,
thank you
Sharrell.
guys for calling in. I appreciate it.
Everybody enjoy the show.
Okay,
Right.
thank you. Yeah, I got to go watch the show. Thank you guys for calling. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.
You too.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Please don't forget to click that like button on your way out. I'm off to watch the show. I'll talk about it tomorrow, and keep my eye open for any hot topics that might come up in the meantime. All right, you guys. Nice talking to you. See you tomorrow. Until next time, bye for now.